That's great, man. And I wanted to mention that because I've noticed another common guest that you have, Andrew, is it?
Yeah, Andrew.
Where,
Yeah,
yeah. And I kind of like that aspect. He's kind of like, you have that conversation, that back and forth, and it's something that it gives the guest like an insight to kind of look forward to, right? Because you have different
yeah,
perspectives, like you were saying, on something I noticed, pop culture and
yeah,
society and like a lot of things that we, especially millennials, kind of perceive. Um,
yeah, exactly.
and I wanted to know, like, what was the inspiration or what was the reason maybe to drop the my
The
sister's
solo.
the podcast, yeah, the solo one,
Yeah,
and then go partner with your friend here, Andrew, and go for refreshing the feed.
yeah. So it's sort of like at the time I really didn't have a lot of knowledge in podcasting and audio recording and visual, like anything involving video. I had very minimal knowledge, and then I slowly developed my way into like I've changed career paths and I've wanted to learn a lot more about video and editing and stuff like that. So I went from on audio only, like your sister's favorite podcast was only audio. So I
Hmm.
was on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. But when I moved over to refreshing the feed, it was already all planned that number one, it was going to be more structured. Number two, there was going to be a lot more. Obviously, it's in video, so there's a lot more content that you can publish, right? You can only do so much when it's audio.
Of
Um,
course.
so I said, I'm like, listen, I figured I can't really do all these aspects, including video, audio editing, and publishing and branding and all these different aspects of getting like getting the name out and all that just by myself, right? And
Right.
sorry, I figured like I had this conversation. Andrew and Matt, the guys I paired up with, I teamed
Hmm.
up with. I work with them. Like we've worked together for a couple of years.
Okay, nice.
Um, yeah, and they've been like a really big help to me, not only in podcasting but in real life, right? So they're creative guys. I think of them as very knowledgeable guys, and I thought they would have been a great. They are, and I think they will be like a great addition or a great support system for the podcast. So that was kind of what made me drive my way from solo and just interview style to like having somebody that I can consistently like rely on to be there and help me record and stuff like that.
Well, you said so many cool things and so many things that I kind of, uh, I'm agree with you on. The aspect for first I should mention is the video content. You got camera set up. From what I see, you don't do this over a Zoom call. At the moment, I have to
Yeah.
do it because of my situation, the circumstance. But I
Yeah.
do intend one day to have my own studio set up. But it's so important from a marketing perspective to get visual content out there because, as a filmmaker myself, I'm a very visual person. And as much as I love to hear a podcast, I also like to connect the voice to the face and
Yeah,
see, how
exactly.
that person is, interacting and, what they're laughing about. And it's just a lot of inspiration, like I took from Joe Rogan, for instance. He was
Yeah.
making he was saying on the podcast something to the effect of his manager was saying, if you go with Spotify, ensure that you have a video aspect because Spotify, I think, at the time was only known for audio.
Yeah.
And it goes back to with that interview he had with Elon Musk when he was smoking pot and how viral
Yeah.
it went. Because yeah, sure, it would have gotten some views, like the soundbite, but it's not the same if you actually see it. And that clip, I remember,
Yeah.
like millions of views. And we have a long way to go to even get to that point. But the idea, the intention is to record these podcasts, to document them, to show people our conversations, and really just show the human side of us. Whoever's following us on our creative journeys, whether we're filmmakers or podcasters, they just know that we're just like you and them.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just the same kind of individuals that we all have our challenges and we all have our ups and downs.